Hi and welcome everybody. Welcome to a special episode of Fresh Jazzy Sounds, the Carnival Edition 2023. We are 40 days before Easter, so we have to stop eating. But first, it's time to party. At least in my city and a large part of Europe, it's now Carnival time, 4 days of party time. The colors of my city are orange and red, as you can see. The video was shot on Saturday morning, just after 12 o'clock. We're already drinking beer, but the music was happening. It had a great jazzy vibe with this band, and it's typical for what is happening at the moment now. So if my eyes are a little bit smaller as usual, forgive me, it is just a little bit of depredation of sleep. But now, let's go back to the jazzy tunes and put the needle in the groove. And we start off the first album with Kraig Kilby with the album called Satori. It's an album from 2006, so quite a while back. It has been reissued. It completely escaped me when it was released in 2006. I saw the reissue. I was intrigued by the cover. I did not heard before of Kraig Kilby. Turns out he's a trombone player and also plays the keyboards. He does the programming on this album. So you can hear a little bit that it is from the 2000s. In a sense, there's a little bit of broken beat in between the trombones. The trombones is a little bit distorted in some ways. It's not your regular jazz album, but for people who are into this kind of music, it's a great album. For the next album we have a similar vibe, mixing the UK jazz sound with broken beat from the early 2000s. It's Kaidi Tatham from the UK. He has played on many albums of other artists. Not so frequently he releases his own music, sometimes an EP, sometimes an album, an LP like this one. Don't rush the process, and it has a great vibe. He has produced most of the music. I think he plays every instrument except for the percussion, and on side A he is helped by the Easy Access Orchestra, which brings in horns and woodwinds. So you can hear all his playing as you like it, and of course there's a lot of Rhodes like I want to sample in the next song. Last time I was lucky to show a test pressing of Loyal of the Soil. It's released by Wicked Wax. It's now at the end of January released officially. This is how the cover looks. Looks beautiful. I think I explained last time, it's recording during the pandemic, Corona pandemic. And what they did is they invited friends and family to the studio, and they were part of the recording because it was not allowed to perform for big audiences or in public. And that created something really special. It's written on the back side. I want to just read it out because it's written so well. The artists all managed to capture serenity in the midst of disorder existing beyond the confines of the studio. Every recording attains a peace and tranquility in its own respective way, but all converse on the fact the music arrives to us from the vast Dutch musical landscape. And that's exactly what it is. It are Dutch artists, new, fresh. Some of them I've never heard of. What you're now listening to is Liquid Spirits. They're a little bit more known, but I don't know if they're known outside of Holland. The music really, it is so well fitting together. Although it's only one song per artist, it fits very well together. For the next one I want to sample is the song by I Didn't Know Her or He Nausea, The Valley. And the next album is in a way very similar to the previous one. It's a test pressing. It's released, I think, at the moment, or maybe it has already been released. It's a record by BMM Records from France. And like the previous album, which introduced Dutch artists, this is a compilation of new artists from Belgium, France and Switzerland. And there's a different vibe going on, as it is of course everywhere in different countries. People pick up different things, they have the tradition, and the music they're making is all jazzy, of course. It's BMM Records, which have released many great albums already. It is part artists on their own label, but they also took artists from different labels. And so they really took out the best you can get at the moment from the area, from France, Switzerland and Belgium. And you really got some nice songs that really intrigue me to get out and seek out if they have done complete albums. Do you remember the episode during the summertime that was 10 albums nobody has? It was a thread by TKR Video Central. Lots of people participated. I think over 100 videos were entered. It was, of course, part of the thread was a competition. There was a drawing. 3 lucky people were drawn out of the mix and they could win a prize.
And finally, this is the last winner, people. This is the winner of the third prize, $25 gift certificate or money or whatever you want to do. And that will go to X-Junkie NL.
And luckily for me, number 3 was me. I got a prize of $25 and I could spend it on anything I wanted. For me it's always fun then to choose an album which related to that thread. 10 obscure albums, I showed some Dutch albums. So I thought I need to find for this kind of money something really obscure, which is new. And that turned out to be Fast DE. Fast DE, Side Inside, is a Dutch album by an artist called DE, Daniel Eskens. He's a bass player, bass guitar player. He plays different styles. I'm now in the background, what you're hearing is more of a down tempo. There are up tempo songs, there are a little bit wild songs, because it is crossing over that jazz and the more harder side of music. It has a little bit of that lo-fi sound, that really first guitar or the first bass guitar, I guess, in this kind. But that's really a very nice album. It's so obscure, it's not yet on Discogs, although it has been released 6 months ago. I now want to play the first song. Next album is Children of Scorpio, Project Gemini. It's really a wonderful album. It has that soundtrack vibe, library vibe. I think it's also mentioned on the hype sticker. The hype sticker, usually it's released on Mr. Bongo. The hype sticker is kind of well presenting the music actually. A cinematic musical journey that takes in vintage soundtracks, library music, guitar, heavy funk, acid folk, 60s psych. Well, now it's going a little bit more hype and dusty breaks, but I think from the sample especially, it's really a cinematic musical journey that has that really soundtrack vibe. Also the song titles are in that sense. The music is by Paul, what was his name? Paul Osborne. I was not familiar with him, but he's playing almost all the instruments, so the bass, the vocals, the mellotron, the fuzz guitar. He has help sometimes by Sujin on drums, on this track for example, but also by Barry Codigan, who is on lead and rhythm guitar, Rob Owen on lead guitar. So there's a lot of guitars, a little bit like the previous album I showed by Fast DE. It has that special quality that really it meanders between different genres. I call it jazzy, but I think somebody who's more into rock can really enjoy this album. It's really a fun album to just play in the background and dream away. For the last album, I must say luckily the last album, because it's getting quite hot under the head, we're going to Estonia with the Estrada Orchestra with Playground. And it's really, this album is a playground for Misha Pamfilov. He's together with his almost, I would say, regular group of friends. I think the Estrada Orchestra, this is maybe they're almost 10 years together now, or maybe a little bit less. But it's clearly they played a lot together on this album, because they mix it up every time. This album is a little bit more drony, lo-fi sound. It is recorded live during a dance, was it a dance workshop? I believe so. Yeah, a dance workshop. So there's quite a lot of interaction, I think, with the performance itself, which gives the album a certain vibe. It is one track on each side, and it just builds up. So there's a certain kind of groove. The groove is sometimes a little bit lost. It is also because it is lo-fi in a sense, which gives this music a certain coherence that I really, really like. Thank you for watching. See you next time.